James Ernest of the Growing Truth Radio Network here with MMA Ground and Pound. And my guest today is Justine Kish of the UFC Strawweight division. Justine, so tell us how you got started with MMA.
Well, hey, it's nice to be on the show. And let's see. I went, actually I started with karate, and then back when I was like 12, 13 years old. And then I earned my black belt just a few years later. I got really involved in it. I actually loved it. And actually I would try to stay as long as possible in the karate classes, and so much that the instructors were like, Justine, you have to pay for all these classes. Your family has to pay for these classes. And so like, I run home, I'm like, Mom, you got to pay for all the classes that I'm staying at. And but there's like an unlimited program, and I just loved every bit of martial arts. And next thing you know, I got really involved with self-defense. And while I was doing self-defense and teaching it and training in it, I was also partially taking like kickboxing classes, boxing classes, a little bit of everything. And I did a little bit of boxing, a little bit of karate competitions, and a little bit of like I'd go and travel and do like demos, like for self-defense and things like that. So I knew I liked like the spotlight. I knew I liked the attention and people watching, and like females really being like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. So it's really nice to it was really nice to be able to for other females to come up and be like, hey, I want to do what you do, and it was exciting for me. It made me feel really good, and it helped people at the same time. And then in 2008, after college, I got more into training. So I started with like the kickboxing classes. But he's like, you know what? How about you go to Thailand, because you're good at striking, and I think you should learn Muay Thai. And I was like, yeah, I should. Absolutely. And so I called my mom, like, hey, Mom, so this time I want to go to Thailand. I'm going to do some kickboxing out there. Muay Thai is the best way to explain it is it's like kickboxing, except you're allowed to do elbows, knees, and head kicks. So they're all legal, and they're all legal to the face and knees to the body. So I was trying to explain to my mom, so like any other daughter would explain to to the parents, try to minimize it to sound as least harsh as possible. And she's like, at the end of the conversation, she was like, Justine, I don't understand really why they're doing all of this in Disneyland. I'm like, I'm not talking about Disneyland. I want to go to Thailand. That's where everyone goes to learn to learn how to strike. And she was like, are you serious? And I was like, she's like, you're crazy. I was like, I'm absolutely serious. And next thing you know, I was at the end of the conversation, because I was almost in tears because she wasn't believing me. At the end of the conversation, I was on my way to Thailand, and I loved Muay Thai. It channeled my energy. It was from 6 to 8 hours a day, 3 to 4 hours in the morning, 3 to 4 hours at night. And this is just of training. It's not all hard, intense cardio training, but oh my gosh, I absolutely loved it. I ended up going back to Thailand 7, maybe 8 more times. The longest day I was there for a year, or just shy of a year, maybe it was 11 months or so. And the time I was there for a year, I had won my first stadium championship belt and my world championship belt. And that was in 2012. And then about 2013 or 14, I got a call from, I got a call, and I heard that the UFC were going to start having females in my weight category, a little bit lower. Like I usually fight. I'm very comfortable fighting 125, sometimes even up to 130. But it was 115. I was like, well, I'm not sure I can make that, but I will try it. So we'll see if it's doable. So it's very, very tough, but it's doable. And so I went and auditioned at the Ultimate Fighter. I I made it. Well, actually, I auditioned for a heavier weight category, 135, because that was the first opportunity. And I was just like, okay, well, no big deal. I'll just be a little smaller than everyone else. But they actually ended up cutting me and saying that these girls are way too big for me, so maybe I should come back next time. I was like, no, they're not. I can handle it. Don't worry about it. But I thought I made the show, and I finding out last minute, that I didn't. So I took on a few competitions while all that show stuff was going on. This was for the Ronda Rousey house, and Ronda Rousey was the coach. And it was, I just forgot who the other, it was Misha Tate, right? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, am I putting you to sleep over there?
No. Shoot, no, it's quite interesting. Yeah, I was going to say, shoot, were you vaccinated with a phonograph needle? No.
Was I vaccinated?
It's a joke saying you talk fast. It's all good.
Oh my gosh,
No worries. Shoot, no, you're awesome. No, shoot, I love
have a lot of ideas in my head, and I gotta get it all up as soon as possible. I'm gonna forget.
No, I love the enthusiasm. That's great. Yeah, I was gonna say, let's go back and start at the beginning. Let's see. Of course, the huge impact of your parents bringing you here to the States.
Yeah, well, of course, wait, what's the question? Like, you mean, like, why I came back?
No, originally, like, how impactful on your life was your parents adopting you and bringing you over to the States?
Oh, man, that's a very long story, but, it was huge. Like, I was born in St. Petersburg, Russia, and my birth parents, they abandoned me for whatever reason. I'm very happy that they did, because I love my life. But I grew up in the orphanage for the first 5 years, and grew up in the orphanage for the first 5 years, and I remember, like, my memory is a little, like, jogged or, like, disputable, because it's between stories and it's between memories, and, like, even weird dreams sometimes, but I adjusted very quickly when I came to the States. Like, when I found out I was going to be adopted, and I was going to be leaving the orphanage, I was telling all the kids in the orphanage that I was American. See you suckers later. And I was so excited that I got to leave, because I was at the age that families would come in, and I would try to get them to bring me home, not the other kids. So that's how pathetic the situation was. But there was no money. It was around 1988, Leningrad becoming St. Petersburg. But I'll say I never knew my American family until I first met them when I flew to the United States. I met my mom and my first mom and my first dad for the first time. And that was at the Pittsburgh airport. And I knew I felt automatically adjusted. And on the plane ride, I was trying to remember as many English words as possible so that I could impress the new family. I learned a few words, like one of them being like "I love you," "Papa," "Mama," "hungry," "bastard," like those kind of words. You know, they're essential words.
Yeah.
And
the important words. Yeah, that's understandable. So it sounds like.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It sounds like coming to America has made a huge impact on your life.
Absolutely. Like it's as soon as I saw the life I was granted, like it was just like it was so the adjusting period, the acclimation, it was so easy for me. It was a beautiful house, amazing family. I have a sister. I have an older sister, a brother. My brother just turned 50. My sister, I think she's close to 50. She's young. She's like 2 or 3 years younger. And my brother has 3 children. And actually, my sister also works like in the health field, but my brother and his wife and my dad, they're all doctors. So I come from a really brilliant family, and they're just so supportive, and I learned so much from them. So it's just the contrast of what I do and what they do is just, it works, and they help me so much.
So you break them apart and they put them back together.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like every time, like any sort of training injuries, like there's always minor things between wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Like, yeah, I'm able to. We all live very close to each other, so I'm always able to run to the doorstep and either get stitched up or glued up or fixed up, whatever it may be. It's very beneficial.
And I can imagine with being the baby of the family, they're always extra worried about you or concerned.
I guess it's a wild life, and my dad passed away. Like my first dad that I ever met, like he had passed away the first year I came to the States. So my mom took raising me all on her own, but she was able to she never had to work afterwards. But at the same time, like I was a lot of work. Like I was way more than a full-time job, and like for her to channel my energy, what she did is after school, she would put me from one sport to another, like back to back, just to channel my energy. So it was either, and a lot of people are kind of surprised about this, but if we were still living in Pennsylvania, I think I would be a figure skater because I loved ice skating. I was just getting into competitive ice skating. Doing the jumps, doing the spins. I loved it. And then we moved to North Carolina, and I got into other sports. But I sometimes go ice skating. I can still do the jumps and everything, but it would be from ice skating to swimming to soccer, and then I'd go home and do homework. And finally, like she's 70. My mom is 76 now, and so I'm amazed by all the things that she did for me because I was a really wild. I'm wild now, yes, but I was just all over the place. And I always remember, just always looking over, and she's always sitting on the bench, never coaching. She's always sitting there watching and smiling, and afterwards, she'd always be like, "I really love watching you play." She's like, "Wow, she taught me the nice comments that other families would say." I'm sure they said mean ones too, because I was, but she of course is telling me those things. But it was just really, really nice to see how much she enjoyed how much she enjoyed watching and being there. And a lot of people they can't be there for their kids for every practice or for every game. And so I'm very grateful for how my mom was. And in that aspect, it was just constant support. And I think that's a big part of why. I don't know if you can say, why I've got to where I am now, just because of her support and her drive to make sure I got to everywhere I need to be.
Exactly. I mean, it sounds like just how great of a role model and an influence on your life. I mean, for like you said, always being there for you and just being so supportive. And wow, that's awesome.
Well, now I want to make it up to her because she's giving me this life that I can just pursue and just get after. And I was like, "Why do you do all this stuff for me?" And she's like, "Well, we've known from the beginning. You put your mind to it, and you always give your absolute best to it." And that's mostly because I want to make sure, I'm grateful for everything. So I want her to know, okay, thanks for letting me do this. And the absolute least thing I can do is just give my best. And I've practiced and played with that attitude, but now it's surfaced more and or it's exposed more. And I want to treat her to a really good life and be able to do things for her because it only seems right. And
that's awesome.
I mean, it's incredible. And I think that the stress that she's minimized stress so much for me that I can really just absolutely hone in on what I want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say with her support, it sounds like you've been able to obtain those goals that you've set in your life. I mean, winning the Muay Thai championships, being the UFC. It sounds like with her help and your family structure that you've been able to go out and live your dreams, which is great. That's amazing.
I just always feel I don't ever want to like come across as like spoiled or anything, but man, they have spoiled me with like love and like attention and like it's overwhelming because now I'm just like I have too much. I need to give it all back or pay it forward somehow. So like I try to do that. Like the fighting life is very selfish and self-absorbed, and maybe not just the fighting. Like maybe that's how it is when you reach any pinnacle of any sport. You know, you got to really like focus and like be selfish of your body, like making sure you stay healthy so that you know you can continue competing. But as soon as I'm done competing, like what I really want to do most is just not do anything for myself, just so I can, you know, try to have a balance or something. Because, I mean, with the diet, with the training, like you have to do so much for wrestling, for jiu-jitsu. Like you have to try to keep everything up to par. If not, you know, you have a favorite or something, and you know, it doesn't like with. I believe police, like in my last fight, police really exposed that I've been getting away with like bad wrestling, bad jiu-jitsu for a long time. But only because I love striking. I've lived out in Thailand, training 8 hours, it's been a full-time job. So now I came back to the States. I'm trying to get that equal time in wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And like, man, the internet's ruthless because like, man, just these awful at ground. Man, like, why didn't she just keep it? Like, I'm like, come on, guys, I'm trying. Like, like I'm not completely ignoring it. Like, I would argue and I say I absolutely enjoy it. I love the struggle. I like new things. So I'm forever a student. There's always something to improve on. And I really hope I don't ever find myself at times like, oh, I know everything. I've got it down. I have it down perfectly because I'm afraid that's when you stop learning. You just put limitations up when you think you just got it all. So
I know what you mean. It's important to stay humble and always improving because that's the only way to win in an intense sport like MMA. That's understandable.
Or just to succeed. Like, yeah, you just. I mean, there's so much talent, and I think it was my first MMA loss, but I've had so many losses in my life, like being so involved with sports, so I know how to lose. There's just a lot of exposure with UFC, so and a lot of like support, like the support's only growing and growing, and losing seems to be a lot easier when I was by myself in Thailand. Like I've had like 2 maybe career losses, and so losing seems to be a lot easier when I'm by myself. But the fact, like now, like my family's come to under the media a little bit. It's a little bit different. Like I don't want a win. Okay, like they can, of course, I can be associated. But after a loss, I'm like, I'm sorry. I hope you don't have to get too much backlash from this because whether they like it or not, they're in the line of fire. You know.
Well, I was going to say, the nice thing about that loss, not that losing's ever good, but it was by decision. It's not like you gave up or were knocked out. You continued to fight on the whole fight, and you were determined. So that's quite impressive. It's quite admirable. I was going to say, I mean, I've seen some fights because I work with local MMA here in Northern Kentucky with Premier MMA, and I've had fighters. Actually, my favorite one was with Boom. Boxing. We had somebody who was boxing and surrendered during a boxing match.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm like, how the heck do you surrender during a boxing fight? Like, he just got tired of getting hit, and he called it, and we're like, wow. As opposed to...
That's a person that doesn't like to fight. They don't want to fight.
Exactly. So,
wow.
Yeah, that just baffled me seeing that. Yeah, so all kinds of crazy things happen.
Let's say the part is going in there to compete. Like, oh my God, it's like everything is in there. But yeah, this weight category is again, I stress it's difficult. Like fighting, I walk around there, sometimes around 135. I mean, I can get way bigger, but like with a good diet, like the peak of my conditioning of my training camp, I'm around 127 pounds. Of course, I can get bigger when I'm not focused on my diet and things like that. That's very easy. But, with everything being aligned, like I'm still around 127, 130 pounds. So I don't know what was wrong with me in that fight because, I mean, I look at it and I watch it finally. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's nothing I practice. I don't have any defense. Like, I have no, like, power. So I'm just like, I mean, that's all I did at the moment. Like, you know, of course, in my mind, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to dwell on anything. I'm ready for competition. But afterwards, I see it, I'm like, oh my God, it looks like I've never fought before, in my opinion. And this is just viewing my last fight. And I talked to my coach. I'm like, okay, am I just a really bad strawweight? Because I've had 3 fights in a row that went to decision, and I've never been happy with any of my strawweight fights at 115 pounds. And my coach reminded me, like, listen, you lost 17 pounds for this fight. So on Wednesday, I weighed in at 132, almost 130. I had water in me. Like, in the morning, I was 120 something, 7 or 127 or 8. Anyways, when I got after the plane ride, after the flight, and checking in, as soon as you would check into the hotel, they check your weight. So it was close to 133. I looked at them. I was like, I hope they weren't worried. I was like, don't worry, I just have water in me. So that was Wednesday. By Saturday, 10 a.m., I was 115.6 or 1.1. We'll say 115.7. So there's a 1 pound allowance for every strawweight. You're allowed to do 115. The only time you have to make 115 is for the competition, for championship, for the belt. So again, in my mind, that was fine. Like, everything went great, and I was asking my coaches, like, do you think I'm just, like, lying to myself or something? Because I didn't do any of the things that we're practicing. Like, I'm just out there kind of just going to motion. Like, but at the same time, Felice she was really, really strategic. And even as annoying as it was for me, like, it wasn't really a fight. Meaning, like, I would want to sit up there and strike and punch. And, like, her coach's strategy, or her team's strategy was just, like, to hold me down. And she obviously found a few submissions in there, or tried to, but the best she had to do against me was just to hold me down, and her coaches would be like, okay, you got 2 minutes left to hold her down, you got 1 minute left, and I'm just trying to, I've won fights with jiu-jitsu in the past, like with triangles, with arm bars, so I'm never, like, I do so much training, I'm never uncomfortable, but I don't mind saying, like, yeah, Felice knows a lot more about MMA than I do, like around 20 fights, and I just had my 7th one now. Mm-hmm. So I just like to go out there and compete. But man, like, at this level, I feel like I need to, like, just focus on wrestling stuff. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go find a middle school and go do the wrestling camp. Not high school. That's way too good for me. So I gotta start with middle school, I think, first. And then maybe. I'm just making all these jokes, but... Oh,
it's all good. No, it was funny. Because I was like, well, did she just say... I think she said middle school. I'm like, what?
I haven't get to the high school level yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
That's way too good.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the thing, is... The important thing is you did learn from the fight and, on where areas that you can improve. And, I mean, that's the whole thing about it. I mean, like you said, she's got a lot of experience. She's been in MMA for a long time. The funny thing is, I did not know she did MMA. I just thought she took photos. I actually thought...
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, I thought that's what she did for a living. If you've seen her Facebook, because we've been Facebook buddies a couple different times. Sometimes we are, sometimes we aren't. And then I had to re-request. But and then met her a couple times at the Arnold. Really nice. I mean, sweet. But I had never actually heard of her fighting anybody. But my nephew, just taking pictures with fans, she is awesome. I know that.
Oh yeah, we were in the house. Felice and I were castmates in the house, and we were teammates at that. But if everything went our team's direction, we of course would have to face each other. But as soon as I got this, I went through a few knee surgeries in my athletic career, like the 3 knee surgeries, and just on one knee. But I tore my ACL, MCL, PCL, meniscus, and everything's been reconstructed or replaced. And with that said, it feels great. It's my best leg ever. Because when I got disqualified, Elise was the first person that went up to me. She's like, oh, I'm just really glad I didn't have to fight you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, please, like, I'm still in this division. Like, I'm going to come right back. I just have to get my knee fixed, and I'll be right back. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go to the sauna or something. I was like, I don't know what she said, but, I mean, there was, I don't know if you recall, like, there was a little bit of issues, people thinking Elise was, like, a bully on the show or something like that. Like, I was there, and I saw what happened, and I promised, like, everything she did or what that they said she did, it was harmless. Like, she's fine. Like, she's, I mean, yeah, she's very, you know, self-absorbed and things like that, but, you know, that maybe that's why she gets the sponsors that she does, the opportunities, the promotions that she gets. So, you know, she's doing something right, and I think her team, oh my goodness, they were so loud in there. Like, like her coaches in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that was a little bit obnoxious was how they were just badgering, saying, you know, there was nothing really so much coaching, except the one time that she had me pinned. They were like, okay, just pin her down for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And I even heard them say, we know this is boring for you, but this is, we got it, all right, we got it. And so it was very, very smart. It was very
strategic,
safe and smart. But at the same time, like, her corner was like belittled. Like, there was one time, like, I saw in the videos laughing, and then it made me remember, like, why not just laugh? But her coaches were like, oh, Justine's tired. Justine doesn't have a good. It was a very belittling comment, and like. Yeah. They were loud. And I was just thinking, wow, like, if that was my team, I probably would stop and tell them to leave. Like, I'd be like, don't disrespect your opponent. Like, I'm here, because I'm here, you get to make money, you know? Like, because she's there, I get to make money, you know? Like, but I don't know why anyone would disrespect an opponent, because A, they showed up, and B, they want to compete, you know? Like, so I don't understand why her coaches were, like, very belittling or like nagging, but it was all like little small jabs or stabs at me. But I remember laughing because, I mean, it was kind of funny at one point, like, oh, she's so tired, she's breathing. I'm like, I laughed like this. I'm like, it's completely the opposite. But then one time I went and did like a combination. I was like, and I backed up because I was hoping like she would give me, like, she would retaliate with some strikes, but no, like she just went for a takedown. And I didn't have any defense, put me on my back, and that was it. Like, I was like, oh, here we go again. So, but again, like, if that was my team, like, I'd probably have to be like, and at the next break, I would be like, you guys can't be doing this. You guys have to leave. Like, but again, that's their coach's style. I guess it's worked for her.
I know what you mean. Yeah, some of them, some coaches feel they have to talk negative to pump up their fighters, and it just baffles me. I've never understood it either. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Those things mean things, like low blow things. I was like, but with the way her team was acting, was compared to the way Felice was acting, Felice's behavior was complete contradiction. Felice is an awesome sport about this whole situation because she can that girl can talk, and that girl can drag out an issue for anything, but. As nice and as respectful, and like I can tell, like people that are trying to like bring out, like trying to bring out, not people, like media is trying to bring out like negative attention to, you know, her choking the crap out of me. Sorry, for her choking the crap out of me. I can tell that Felice doesn't really want to talk about it. Like, you know, I don't know, because it takes away the light from her. I don't know what the case is, but she's definitely she's saying much nicer things. She's shocking me with her response, and I'm gonna, one way or another, I'm gonna reach out to her just to say, you know, it's very nice of you.
Oh, sorry, one moment. And after the interview, I'll be in to play with you. I'll be the blue. I'm on the phone, buddy.
Which one do you
The
want?
blue.
The blue. Okay, blue.
Yeah, he wants to play a little fishing game in a little bit. And he's upset. Yeah, he's obsessed with the color yellow, so I just picked one of the other ones so he could be happy.
That's great. That's a nice color too.
Yeah, he's a good little guy. He's 5.
How old is? Oh, 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What? Does he play any sports right now?
He does a little bit of baseball. He plays Bambino ball, where the other team plays with you, not against you, and then because you play against older kids. and then it's more of like coaching instead of playing against you. And then he does special forces basketball, where it's like basketball for special needs kids.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a good little guy. He's got Eagle Barrett syndrome. He's got no stomach muscles, so he's a tough little guy.
God. Oh wow! So, but But you're taking him to do all these different events and sports.
Oh yeah, me and him do all the fun stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, like today, later on when the weather gets nicer, we're gonna go down to Kentucky Speedway and watch NASCAR. So that'll be fun. So, yeah.
I used to live out in Kentucky.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was in Louisville, Kentucky. I was living out in Frankfort for a little bit, and then I lived in Louisville, Kentucky. I love it out there. Heck yeah, but I lived all over the place. Sometimes I'll do teaching tours, or I'll go out and coach kickboxing for 3 to 6 months at different places. This is like a side job that I have. So I've been to a bunch of different places, but I really love Kentucky. Like all the space, all the land. I loved it. I'm actually going to go probably back in a few months to visit my friends, to visit my gym out there. So.
Oh, nice.
But so is your son able to walk? Is he able to walk around on his own?
Yeah, he can do walking and stuff. It's like in his stomach, he just doesn't have the stomach muscles there, and then because of that, it affected the bladder and kidneys. So they did a surgery to pull everything together muscle-wise, so it helps some. And then they put a hole in his hip, Mitrofanoff, so he's able to be calf easier, because the old-fashioned way of calving is no fun for anybody.
And then how about does it take a look is it developing muscles there take a little bit longer, or is it
unfortunately, since they weren't there at birth, they won't ever grow. That's the only downside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like with him, because of the bladder and kidneys, he gets a lot of urinary tract infections, and but he's a tough little guy, and he's working through it. And we're lucky we have Children's Hospital right down the road in Cincinnati. So yeah, so it's getting there.
Does he watch any of the fighting stuff?
He watches it some. He's done went to a couple of the events, and he really likes it. So yeah, he enjoys it.
Well, remind me just to text. You have my phone number, so just text me your address. I can send them a little present.
That'd be awesome. Thank you. You're sweet.
No, absolutely. That's so cool. I love his spirit. I love that he goes out and does things. That's fantastic. It sounds like you're doing everything for him. That's really I love that.
Heck yeah, me and him, we're best buddies. We do all the fun stuff. We're always going somewhere, either the museum or Coney Island. It's a little theme park over in Cincinnati, or the library. We like to do stuff together. So I'm lucky. Yeah, shoot. I couldn't imagine life without him.
What's his name?
Owen. Yeah.
How do you say?
Owen. James Owen Ernest. Yeah. He's a fun little guy. He'll go up to people and introduce himself, and he's like, "I'm Owen Ernest," but then after that, he doesn't know what to say next, so it's kind of funny.
I love that.
Yeah, so yeah, he's awesome. I was gonna say, kids are great, but shoot, you'll find that out down the road after your MMA career. I was gonna say that's one of the things that's got to be different, unfortunately, between the men and the women with the fighting. Like you were mentioning earlier, with your career, you have to be so focused on yourself, where you said it, you felt like it was a little self-absorbed, but you have to be that way with with being a professional athlete. It's not being self-absorbed. It's you're always working on your career, where shoot.
And my mom had given me the example, when I'm done doing all these things, I want to be able to tend to my children the way she was able to tend to me. She's so selfless, and I have to to get her new glasses, or to get her something nice or something new. I have to drag her. I'm like, Mom, this is for you. Stop it. I don't need anything. No one's looking at me. She'll joke at things like that. And she thinks it's funny, but I just get upset about it. But she's really giving me that example. So that's why I want to give my absolute best, see how far I can go. And it just seems like with that attitude, just keep on learning, keep on digesting crazy things that come along with it. I wanted to see how just to see what my potential really is. And when I'm done, I'm all and I feel like I've given my best. I can't really contribute anymore. Then maybe I'd like to start a sport. I'd like to start a family and have children of my own. But I don't want to do any of that unless I can do it the way my mom did it. So
Exactly.
someone said I was going to be in sports all my life, though, because I just love competing too much. But she's definitely set that example for me, and she's instilled that by not by talking, but sheer by raw experiences, by showing, by doing, by action. So
Exactly. That's why, I've already got you on the list for next year for around Mother's Day. Have you back on as a guest to, you and your mom on the show to talk about just how big of an impact she's been on your life. Something like that would be really cool, because I know I saw, I want to say it was Sports Illustrated. They did a really cool thing with Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. and just how they influenced each other's lives. So it makes me think that would be, that story is just great.
That's very good. That's actually a great idea. She did one interview with me, and I was very surprised. So I think she might do another one, because she got very good feedback with it. Someone said, "Hey, hot stuff," to my mom.
Nice.
I was like, "Look, Mom, you're stealing my thunder."
That's awesome. So,
but anyway,
it's all good. Yeah. So shoot, it sounds like you've had an amazing career. You've got to travel the world and meet all kinds of interesting people. So who have been the biggest influences? Obviously your mom, but who else on your fighting career? Coaches, people you've trained with that you would like to thank.
Yeah, my coach is incredible. I was able to move back to. I have coaches all over. I do my camps on the East Coast. I do my camps on the West Coast, and I do my camps in Thailand. And I've been really fortunate with just world-class coaching. I really have. I'll put my focus, since my last camp was on the East Coast, where my family, where my friends are. I went to middle school, high school, and college here in North Carolina, so I have a very amazing support group here. But my coach his name is Justine, but at Jimmo, he's, as soon as my class is over, he's already worked. He's on pretty much a coaching tour. He has to go to Japan, then he has to go over to Africa. He's just constantly traveling, teaching, because he has so much to share. But he's probably the least famous coach if you ever come across. And he's afraid of putting any attention towards the media or any attention outside of his athletes, because I think he's afraid of being partial. He's not going to give his best if he starts doing those kind of things. So, anytime I try to give him credit or acknowledge, all of his efforts, how much he does. It really takes a village, even though it's just us it's just ourselves when the door closes, for competition. It's so, I was really disappointed in myself, because all the things that he worked so hard to instill in me and things like that, I wasn't able to showcase. And at past fights I have, we've had some. I've known him since I've known my coach since I was maybe 15 or 16 years old, maybe. Mm-hmm. And he's been completely understanding. He's been really awesome about me traveling. He's planted that seed in my head that I got to go where the best are, and if that means leaving him to learn from others. He's been a huge staple in my life and in my career. But I have to say, he's really. Just the way I guess you could say that I the way I address things, the way I try to, how do I say this? The way I try to address things or the way I try to respond to things.
Yeah.
I always ask for my coach's advice, for Jeff's advice, because he knows how to, he knows the best way to say things with, that will also, like, I don't know, just to get credit where it's due, if that's what you mean. But I don't want to minimize anyone else's efforts and all the coaches that so many have worked with me and have been understanding with how much I bounce around, because I always like to do something a little bit different for camp and hope that I stay unpredictable and blah blah blah. But I mean, maybe I need to kind of shift gears because of my loss. I don't know. I'm still kind of contemplating what happened last Sunday, because it wasn't me out there.
Mm-hmm.
And my agency said it best. They said, like, she just completely dodged a bullet. So like, she completely dodged a bullet because it was her night. She capitalized on it, and I was off.
So it sounds like you've been lucky enough to work with a wide variety of great, talented people, and kind of your career is a summation of their hard work and your hard work. So that's great.
Yeah, and it's very helpful. Like in North Carolina, like I can do all, like my jiu-jitsu, my wrestling, my striking. I can do that all with one coach. When I have to go to the West Coast, I find the best of everything. I'm over at Black House MMA, and I get to work with Kenny Johnson. But then I go to I go to Carlson Gracie Jr. South Bay, and I'll go over to Sabrina's. I'll go over to the movement boxing. Like, just I have to go from one place to another place because I'm not too well known over there to just stay in one place really, or for a coach to stick with me. Kenny has been very helpful whenever I'm out there, though. He helps me as much as he can out there, and of course with the wrestling, and he lets me do his wrestling camps. Oh my God, I love it. So I'm always eager to go do something a little bit different. But yeah, each of my coaches have inspired me, have given me a different kind of fuel, different kind of fire, and so like it's multiple things that I'm that I admire.
So during his wrestling camps, are you picking on middle schoolers like you were talking about earlier?
Some of them are in middle school. Some of them are in high school. Some of them are like, are notable wrestlers. And so, like, Kish camps are a wide variety. I was talking about local. I was like, because my I just, for whatever reason, the wrestler that works with me, he's an amazing wrestler. And I think he helps me a lot. Like, meaning, like, he could crush me if he really wanted to. But he doesn't, because he wants me to do better, and he wants to help me instill skills. So, like, but, with his talents and stuff like that, like, I always feel like I'm getting better. I always feel like I'm seeing something different every single day. So that's how exciting, that's what a thrill this sport is. It's always something different.
Exactly. That's my coach at one point, because I used to work with an arena team. Me and him now do the interviewing and the show and the network and all. And he was going to co-host this one with me today, but he ended up having a coaching clinic he had to put on. But the funny thing is he's a boxing guy. He loves him some boxing, and I keep trying to explain to him that MMA, why it is so much better. It's not that we dislike boxing, but MMA is boxing. It is Muay Thai. It's karate. It's all those things, jiu-jitsu, all rolled up into one. So what makes it so great is that it encompasses all those type of sports, wrestling as well. Shoot, we were just talking about wrestling.
Yeah,
I forgot to include that. Yeah.
I know that people are asking me, like, so one good question I got, like, so what's the better sport? MMA? I mean, what's the tougher sport? MMA or boxing? I'm thinking, work ethic, they're equally taxing. Like, it's a very, as far as work ethic, but as far as having to learn how to not only push and pull and carry your own weight,
mm-hmm.
and to thrive just by yourself. That's why I like striking so much. It's just striking because you don't really have to endure anyone's weight. You do all these things to not have to have someone hanging on your neck or things like that. But when you're talking about wrestling and jiu-jitsu, like bearing someone else's body weight, not to mention they're punching you, and it's taxing, it's enduring, and it can be exhausting if you don't utilize your energy and your body the proper way. So like we're talking about different things, and people are like, well, who are you going to root for, Conor McGregor or Mayweather? And I as a fellow UFC fighter, I'm going to be rooting for Conor McGregor because I would like for an MMA person to succeed for sure. I don't know how Mayweather, past few fights, he's been very, very, very evasive. People have to chase him down, try to keep him in the center of the ring, and who knows how this is really going to go, but he's not going to have to worry about, there's a little bit of clinch, a little bit of hanging, but the referee breaks it. But as far as MMA goes, like having to endure someone else's weight and wrestle it and capitalize on their mistakes and making sure you're not making any mistakes on your own, like you have to be the most observant at the time. You can't just rely on a lucky shot to win it, even though it can happen. But man, that's why I believe I've been, injured a lot more than often. Yet I've only encountered injuries in jiu-jitsu and in wrestling, and it's because of I didn't manage someone else's weight the right way, and so they fell on me the wrong way, or I fell on them the wrong way, or I twisted something and I was trying to balance things. So you gotta learn how to move properly when it's exhausting, like someone hanging on your neck or someone just laying on top of you forever and ever. Boxing, you don't have to experience that. So,
Exactly.
But again, I'm like work ethic wise, like they're equal. You can work as hard as you want. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be about who's the better athlete, like Conor McGregor versus Mayweather. We'll see.
Exactly, I agree with you. Obviously, with him being part of your company, you want in your sport, you want that guy to win. It makes sense. And I definitely agree with you about the wrestling aspect of it. That was my main go-to move. Was I'm going to lean on you for the first round, put my weight on you when I used to wrestle, and then in the second round it'll be easy to knock you down and do whatever I want to do. But yeah, in the first round I'm not going to try anything too fancy. I'm just gonna have you carry me.
Yeah. And when people don't know how to do it, you can see it on their face. Their whole posture, their structure breaks when you do it the right way. And if they don't know how to work with it, so that's a great strategy. I guess you did pretty well, huh?
Yeah, I was solid. I was a decent wrestler. Unfortunately, in the state of Kentucky, there's only like one or two schools that have wrestling, and I didn't want to go too far for home, so ended up going away from the sport. But yeah, definitely love the sport. It's a great sport, and like you said, with the MMA, how it encompasses all those sports, it's just amazing. So, what's next for you? What's your next big fight you're looking at?
Oh, I would really like to fight this weekend, to be honest. I don't want to sit around for months and months dwelling on a loss. So, I got a call from Dana the night before, the night after I got that. He wanted to say, great job on the fight. It was an exciting fight. He wanted to say, he was very proud. He seemed very proud and happy of the way I handled addressing my fans and the media with my tweet, and he was able to. I was able to get out of him to see if there was going to be a bonus for that fight with the effort and everything like that. And so he hinted like there's some that fight definitely, that it earned a bonus, but it wasn't one of the big ones. It was discretionary bonus. It's not my first one either. He's been very nice, UFC has been nice in giving me bonuses even after, even though I haven't won any of the big bonuses, meaning like fight of the night or submission of the night, but they've still been very generous with giving me some sort of bonus for my efforts out there. So that's what Dana hinted.
Yeah, he
I
seems
didn't
like
ask.
he'd be a good
Fine.
boss.
I didn't cry because I thought he was calling me to tell him I owe him money for winning his match. So, what's next is I hope I get a great fight. I hope I get a girl that really wants to fight so I can showcase something. My coach thinks that no one's in UFC that there's not going to be anyone that wants to stay in front of me. They're just going to all do what police did. So I've got to kind of. He was right. I was the one saying no, she's not. She's on the strike with me. She said do Muay Thai. And I was like, he was right. He was very, very right. And so I got to work on that stuff. So what's next for me is I hope that I get a call soon. I hope they say, hey, I mean, I would love a rematch. I swear, like, things would not be the same if I got to fight her, if I got to fight Felice again next weekend, because I just really want to I really want to test myself against her, because she's my first MMA loss. I got to just wait it out. I'm trying to figure out how frequently I can compete. My last fight was not the last one, the one prior to Oklahoma City was December. So that was 6 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's what it seems with UFC, that it's about a 4 to 6 month at the earliest.
Yeah, that's a long time. I really just want to go compete. Like, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong. Like, I feel healthy. Like, I'd like to go right back in there. So, yeah, I have a few months. So I'm going to focus on maybe doing a little bit, maybe a few community projects with, like, some local programs. Just something to get my mind off of, everything that happened on Sunday, to kind of decompress. But I don't know what's next. Whatever UFC thinks is next, I'm going to enjoy the process. I'm not going to stop my foot and huff and puff, like, for different fights. They know what they're doing. They have their ways. I'm just going to ride it up, and hopefully they saw some. I mean, according to Dana, they saw some good things from my fight and from my performance. So we'll see what kind of. I guess you could say we'll see what kind of fight they give me. What kind of fight I earned after that. Even after a loss.
Exactly, but like you said, it was a loss where you didn't give up, you didn't surrender, you just kept going. You worked so hard during the fights. That says a lot. I was going to say,
I promise I can do better, though. I promise. It was not my best side.
I was going to say, not that Dana won't get mad at me for saying this one, but August 19th, Premier MMA, we're having some fights, and we would love to have you either as a guest of honor, just to hang out, meet the fans, or heck, if you want to fight somebody, shoot, I'm sure we can get that going too.
I would love to, but that is very, very frowned upon.
I can imagine, yeah.
But no, meaning like going out there and competing. It's hard to even get into jiu-jitsu tournaments. I know that's doable, but like it's a little like you have to like get things signed off and blah blah
Exactly.
blah. But as far as going out and hanging out with you guys, unless I'm for whatever reason in training camp already, but I would love that. We'll get just contact me. I've done those before. Like people find me out and I'll hang out and do. At the fights, I've commentated a couple of times.
Excellent. Yeah, that would be awesome to have you do the commentary because we should have some ladies fights and some men's fights, and have you out there doing some commentary. Like we're sending a young man up to the UFC, probably going to be doing the UFC, what was that dang thing you call it, where you all fight in the house? Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, the Ultimate Fighter, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to send Chris Curtis, one of our fighters. He's our champion. He's supposed to be doing an Ultimate Fighter in the near future. Actually, it was funny. I think one of the UFC events right before your last one, they were concerned about, because he had been complaining about one of the fighters in UFC, and they were concerned about him getting in a fight during the fights. So they had security watching him to make sure he didn't get in a fight with the other fella.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which had just baffled me because, I'm sure just like a lot of the fighters, outside of the ring, they're like the nicest, sweetest person ever. And same with Chris. Like, he is, Chris Curtis is just awesome. But, yeah, they were worried, I guess, because he'd said some things on social media about one of the other fighters that, they were worried there was going to be a brawl in the stands.
Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh, no, you don't worry about that happening. I'm not going to fight with anyone in the stands.
Exactly. So no, that's cool. But yeah, I just thought that was the funniest thing that they were worried about that a fight breaking out during the fights. But yeah, it sounds great. Any?
Look, all of these, like, they're flying me out to like a appearance, and yeah, the sooner the better. Because right now I don't think I have anything booked. So, yeah, if that's still an idea for you, let me know. But I'm so sorry. I have to get going.
No problem. It's been great talking with you. Yeah, I was going to say, before you go, any sponsors you want to throw plugs out for?
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to speak to the Ortho Carolina. They've been with me since my first knee surgery. And win or loss, I realize now, like, they are more supportive. They are more supportive than ever. And they're awesome. And these are the people that did my knee surgery as well. So it's just, you know, I'm forever grateful for them. Okay, so, yeah, let me say, I want to say thank you to my sponsors, of course, Jimmo, the Ray Athletic Club, there's Black House MMA, Pros Wrestling, the Spencer and Pettis Gear, O'Neill's Paving, Framer Mountain Club, Fairtech Shoes and Associates, Titanium Fitness. All these guys, none of them are in it for the spotlight because they can't with the UFC policy, with their sponsorship policy. They are 100% like so supportive, and even after this loss, they've been even more supportive. And I'm so grateful for them, and also my community, the community I'm currently residing out of Cramerton, North Carolina. Wow, like, I feel the love more than ever, and I'm very grateful for each and every one of the sponsors and people and families that have reached out to me and that are just excited for my next fight. They say, I'm excited for your next fight now, and I say, well, I'm more excited. So
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Again, thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. You have a good one, Justine. Thank you.